The next 182 days will determine whether you waste another year or become someone people barely recognize. You've probably already broken half of the promises you made to yourself this year. But what separates guys who transform from those who don't is what they do right now. Today, I'm breaking the exact 182-day framework that will make you unrecognizable by the new year. Most guys stay stuck because they refuse to admit this one thing. Blaming others might feel good, but it doesn't solve your problems. Look, I get it. I personally used to blame everyone and everything for things that were happening in my life. My parents didn't understand me. My environment wasn't the best. I wasn't getting, maybe the right opportunities, or even I was feeling like people around me had more advantages than what I had. Of course, it felt good to point the finger at somebody, because that's like the easy thing to do, because it takes that pressure off us. And to be honest, I could have kept on blaming my circumstances all day long. But the bottom line is that I will still go to bed with the same situation. I'll still wake up with the same situation. I'll still basically be living the same life. And here was the truth that kind of changed everything for me. And it was every single thing that happens in my life, good, bad, ugly, is my responsibility. And I also want to make this clear. It might not necessarily be your fault, but it's your responsibility to fix it. Because for some of us, someone else might actually have been the person that created that problem or created that situation or put you in that circumstance. But the hard truth is that you are the only one who can fix or get yourself out of that current situation. So I'll basically like to break this into like 3 key areas. First thing I want you to do, I want you to stop that blaming game completely. Every minute you watching this video, spend complaining or blaming someone else for what is happening to you is another minute you are wasting from fixing that situation. The second thing, own your reactions to everything. You might not necessarily control what happens, but you can most definitely control how you react to whatever happens in your life. And now third, take control of your future starting today. And don't get me wrong, you are already in control, but most of you haven't just stepped into that, that power seat of your life to say, okay, I can actually make decisions and decide how things go. Because if you think about it, every single day you make decisions that basically shape your future, whether you like it or not. Now that we've gotten your responsibility handled, it's time to knock down that self-doubt that is inside you. The second thing that keeps guys stuck is overthinking everything. See guys, looking for that perfect workout routine or the best morning routine video they can find, or whatever, or maybe it's the best study guide for a particular test they are trying to prepare for. And from that, they start watching videos, they start reading multiple books, and it's as if to them it feels like they are being very productive. But then we look at it and see that despite all that, they haven't taken that first step to do that thing they actually want to do. I used to be the king of this. I would research and plan for months, because I think what happened was that I think I convinced myself that planning was progress. But then I realized that despite all the planning, despite all the millions of YouTube videos I was watching, the self-help books I was reading, my life was still the same. But here is what changed everything. I realized that action beats perfection every single time. You defeat self-doubt through action, not thinking. Because if you think about it, every time you want to do something and you are like thinking about it, you are mostly feeding that self-doubt. But every time you take action, maybe even imperfect action sometimes, it just helps you build that evidence to yourself that I can actually do this. This comes down to mastering these 3 things. First, start before you are ready. I don't even want to hear it. What's that thing you want to do? And just start. Start with the first step. Second, you can use the 5-minute rule. What I want you to do is set a timer. You can get one of these. Set a timer. 5 minutes. Put 5 minutes. Come on, 5. Come on, let's have it. 5. Yeah. Just set 5 minutes and set it with you, and just use that 5 minutes and just start doing that thing. In most times, once you start with that 5 minutes, you just tend to just keep on going. You don't feel like stopping again. Third, build your action muscle daily. How you can build that is by trying to do something you've been avoiding every single day. And I also recommend you can put it during the time in your day where you know you are most likely going to do it. So this now helps you make taking action your default rather than overthinking. Now, once you are taking action, you need to be careful of who is influencing your mind. Most guys let the wrong people, would I say, program or feed their minds without them even realizing it. You see them, let's say, taking financial advice from their broke friends, or they're trying to take relationship advice from people who have history of unsuccessful relationships, or maybe even asking their parents about a career that their parents don't or never even had. They basically let anyone and everyone drop opinions in their head, like their head is a public suggestion box. And I used to do this all the time. I would ask advice from friends, family, or people online, thinking I was being smart by getting different perspectives. But here is what I didn't realize. I was listening to people close to me, but not people that were close to my goals. My friends cared about me, but they had never built the life I wanted to build. My parents love me, but they have not walked the path I want to walk. And here's the truth. Who you listen to determines who you become. If you listen to average people, of course, you will become an average person. If you listen to successful people, of course, you start thinking like successful people. And I'll say this requires you to master these 3 areas. First, I want you to audit your current influences completely. Who is that person that you usually look up to seek that validation on that decision you want to make? And that is the people, or that is the person I want you to focus on. Is that person giving you that advice because they've tried it before and they know the experience, they know all these things already, or they haven't tried it before, but they're kind of like taking a guess at what they think would be best for you? 2, cut out negative influences ruthlessly. Pick one person in every area of your life. So if it's health, pick one person in health. If it's finance, pick one finance person you look up to. Third, upgrade your input intentionally. And this is basically surrounding yourself with people who will get you closer to your goals, not people who will get you further from your goals. With the right input coming in, now you need laser focus on one part. This is why most guys never finish what they start. They jump from one thing to another the moment they don't get immediate results. They will start a workout routine for like 1 or 2 weeks and abandon it because they've seen another new video. Or they will start learning a skill, which is good, but then they'll move to the next shining thing that looks like it will get them to their goal or get them results faster. I was a prof at this because, as young guys now, there are a lot of opportunities you can do to make money. 10,000 a month, that's usually like a very common figure you see a lot. But what happened with me was that I would hear this one will make me 10,000 a month, I'll jump to that one, then this one will start proving to feel or start feeling hard, and I'll hear this other one will get me to 10,000 a month, I'll jump to that one, and that is how I kept on jumping from one opportunity to the next based on which one I thought would be the one for me that would get me to those results fast. But if I was being real with myself, I was just afraid of committing and failing. And here's what I have discovered. Every successful man I've studied and the ones I usually like to follow and watch their videos have one thing in common. They all followed one thing until they were successful. And I learned this from Damatel. I can never forget. What's the full meaning of focus? Follow one course until successful. And don't get me wrong, you might start doing something and maybe on the journey you might have to pivot, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you move from that thing you're currently doing to another thing entirely. Because here's the truth, focus beats scattered efforts every single time, and this requires mastering these three things. 1, choose your one thing wisely. And I feel if you're able to pick or find your competitive advantage and find something that you can do for a year without necessarily seeing any results, I think, to be honest, you found your one thing. 2, ignore everything else temporarily. Anything that is not related to helping you get better with that current one thing you have chosen, the answer to it is no. 3rd, you can commit to a minimum viable period. Commit to a specific timeline that you're going to focus on that thing without quitting. Now that you're focused, the final piece is playing the long game. The final thing that separates successful guys from everyone else is their relationship with time. Most guys want everything quick and fast, what we all know as instant gratification. That's why you see things like when people sell courses or sell programs of get shredded abs in 90 days. Things like that tend to sell faster. They see other people's success online and think to themselves, those people, they got rich fast. And I don't know where I watched this. I think it was Alex Omozi again. He was like, for most successful people, what they see as overnight success is like minimum of maybe 3 to 5 years. That is what they see as overnight success. But us now with social media, we see overnight success as they did achieve this in 3 months. So when you start a new opportunity and you are not seeing success in that 2 months, in that 3 months, you tend to quit or you tend to give up. But here's what I had to learn the hard way. Real transformation takes time, and most people quit too early. Those type of changes that make you look unrecognizable don't happen in 30 days. They happen in months and years of consistent effort. And here was another thing I learned from Alex Omozi that kind of helped change my perspective. If you want to be extraordinary, you have to be extra. And when I say extra, that means extra patient, extra consistent, and extra committed. Because the guys who actually become unrecognizable are those who keep on going when most people stop. With this, I want you to master these 3 mindset shifts. First, I want you to measure your progress based in months, not days. In 1 month, have I gotten better at speaking to the camera? In 1 month, have I developed my writing skills? That's kind of how I want you to picture your 1 month progress rather than you just tracking daily progress, which sometimes might feel discouraging. Second, I want you to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. If you're able to fall in love with that, I feel the outcome, those material things, that monetary side of it just comes as a byproduct of you enjoying the process. Third, understand that the downtimes are part of the progress. When you're about to succeed, that is the time it will be the hardest. That's the time you feel like you question why you started doing this in the first place. And I want you to just keep in your mind, especially during those hard times, this too shall pass. Focus on those daily consistent actions to get yourself through that period. Of course, on this journey, you'll face days where you just want to quit and go back to those old comfortable habits you were used to doing for the first part of this year. And that's why I created this video, to help you through those times. And remember, the path is yours to walk. And as always, I'm in your corner, rooting for you.